Hello, hello, hello. This is Chrisia from Lightning English. I'm here today with another lightning lesson for you. And today's lesson is what exactly is business English? And yeah, I know that's a kind of strange question to ask because I've been telling you about business English for, I guess, over a year now at Lightning English. And this is something I talk about all the time. But I realized that maybe we don't all have the same clear picture of what I'm saying when I say business English. And so today's lesson is going to take you through 5 focus areas that I think that everyone who's using English at work should concentrate on. And then I'm going to give you the opportunity to download my business English guide, which has tips and tricks, and it goes into these same 5 focus areas, but in more detail. And I give you quick steps for how you can start improving your business English right away. I also give you some longer term steps that you can try out so that you can continue to improve your business English. You know, I'm all about sustainable improvement. I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time to improve and then 6 months from now find you're in a different place. So I'm all about making sure that you can do something quickly and easily that will last, and that's what I give you in the business English guide. So I'll tell you about that at the end. I'm going to jump straight into talking about the 5 focus areas for business English. I know many of you, when you think business English, the first thing you think about is vocabulary. You want to improve your vocabulary for using English at work, of course. And that is the first focus area for us today, as soon as I get to my slides. And that is, sorry. There we go, vocabulary. Yeah, so when I talk about vocabulary, obviously I am talking about the words that you use, but there's more to it than that. But in business English, we want to make sure that our vocabulary that we use is specific, clear, and precise. It can be tempting to learn all these words that are used in your industry, but you have to make sure you're using the right word for the right person. Remember, there's a difference between talking to peers in your industry and talking to clients who may not know the details. So you have to have both sets of vocabulary. You have to have the industry specific vocabulary, those words that, all of the leaders in your industry are using that explain exactly what you're doing in just 1 or 2 words. But you also need to have the vocabulary to explain this to a customer who has no idea what you're talking about, or someone in the accounts department, or a service provider for something else. So it's really important that you don't just focus on learning a lot of new words. Your vocabulary also includes things like abbreviations, these short forms. So, for example, EG. When you write it, of course, it's EG, but what is it when you read it? It's for example, or IE. Written is IE, I dot, E dot. But when you're speaking, that is actually that is. So knowing these abbreviations is really useful, but there are also industry specific abbreviations. Things like ROI, which is return on investment, and JIT, just in time. These are abbreviations you need to be able to kind of just roll off your tongue while you're talking, and you need to know what people are talking about when they say them. Not just the full thing, but you need to know what the letters sound like. I know in a lot of languages, the letters are said differently. So when you have, for example, SEO, I know in Danish, a lot of people say SEO, okay? And then when they speak English, they also say SEO, but nobody knows what they're talking about. It sounds like CO, which is the, what is it? Anyway, it's a position in a company, and it's very confusing. So make sure that with abbreviations, not only do you know what they mean, but you know how to say the letters for them in English, or you know how they're commonly said in English. The next aspect of vocabulary that it's important to focus on is common expressions. In your industry, what are the expressions that people use? Don't start throwing all sorts of idioms and expressions into your English at work. That's not a good idea. It's confusing. And remember, back to the slide before, we talked about being clear, precise, and specific. Expressions can muddy that up. But if there are some expressions used very often in your industry, go ahead, make sure you have them and make sure they're clear. Along the same lines are collocations. And collocations are basically when you have two words that are almost always found together. So, for example, an example that I saw today was building trust. So, when we're talking about trust, we don't talk about creating trust or making trust or growing trust. We talk about building trust with our clients, for example. So, these are collocations, and it's important to know these. And because when you use something else, it can throw the person who's listening to you off. And of course, you don't want that. And another aspect of vocabulary that you should pay attention to in business industry is industry develop. Sorry, in business English is industry developments. You want to keep on top of what's happening in your industry with current news in English because that will bring you the new words and those collocations and the abbreviations, the common expressions. They'll all be there if you keep ahead of industry developments and know how to talk about them in English. The next thing that you should focus on when you're learning or you're trying to improve your English for business is the structure. And you could also call this the grammar, but you want to be specific, clear, and precise. Sound familiar? It's the same as with your vocabulary. You don't necessarily want to use complex grammar. That doesn't make it better. It's better if it's clear and precise and it's focused on the person who is receiving it. If you in your business life, if you're in contact with people who are also second language English speakers who may not have as high a level of English as you, it doesn't make sense that you use the most complex grammar you know to talk to them because they're not going to understand. So make sure that your structure in your English is specific, clear, and precise, and that you use common forms accurately. And when I say common forms, I want you to use the basic grammar that you learned way back at the beginning of primary school. That's the stuff we use in everyday English. Those tenses, those forms, those are the most common ones, and that's why you learn them first. The problem with this is that because you learned them first, you learned them a long time ago, and there may be some holes in your grammar knowledge. And so if you want to make sure that you're using the most common forms of English grammar accurately, and you're not really sure about it, contact me for a cup of tea and a chat, and we will talk about it. You can also join the wait list for the Lightning Grammar System. I'll put a link up for you because if you join that wait list, or if you go to the site, it'll tell you a little bit more about what the Lightning Grammar System is and how it could help you. But it's coming out next year. Okay, so you want to use grammar, you want to use the common forms and you want to use them accurately in business English because there's so much scope for mistakes. If you make a little mistake in business English, it could cause big problems, whether it's a waste of time or money or embarrassment. It could be quite embarrassing. All of these things are at risk in business English in a way that they're not in general English. So the next focus area for business English is your skills. And I want you to really focus on the skills you need for your job. You don't necessarily have to learn all the business skills. You want to look at what you do in your job and which skills you need for that. And when I talk about skills, I'm talking about things like writing emails, conducting or participating in meetings, making presentations, solving problems. You know, if a client comes to you or customer comes to you with a problem, or maybe you're like in HR or in accounting, there will be problems to solve all the time. You want to have the words for doing this in English and the skills for doing this. And of course, small talk. I do not, never underestimate the value of small talk. I'll get into it a little bit in the next step, but it's really important to remember that small talk is not just for filling time. There are some really useful benefits of small talk, and I talk about this with my business students as well. And there are lots of skills in business English. Make sure that you are clear on the skills that you need and you work on improving them. Again, in my business English guide that I'm sharing with you at the end of this, you'll get a list of skills. You'll get to be able to rate yourself how you stand on each of those skills and which ones you need to focus on. Get in touch with me. Join the Lightning Practice Facebook group and ask questions. I'll help you out with these skills. All right. The next thing that you need is an awareness of culture. And I talked briefly about small talk. In some cultures, um, how you develop trust is not based on, it's not based first of all or solely on how well you do the job. It's based on getting to know someone personally. And there's another real, so it's really important that you have this awareness of culture and learn what's happening in your own culture and how it influences how you see things, because culture is like a pair of colored sunglasses, like I have in this picture, and your culture affects every single thing that you say. And so if you just change what you would have said in your own language to English, then you're going to have some problems because you're not fully expressing what you're trying to say. You expect that people will understand certain things, but that expectation comes from your culture. If you're speaking English, then it stands to reason that the person you're speaking to is not from the same culture as you. So they're going to have different expectations. They're going to read between the lines a completely different way. And so understanding this is really important if you're going to be using English at work. So we're not just talking about humor and customs, although that's really important. Things like dark humor or sarcasm don't really translate. And so we have to look at different ways to express humor when we're dealing cross-culturally. But I think even more important than these things are the expressions or the way you express yourself and your approach to conversations. It's going to be different because of your culture, whether you are a little more timid or whether you give negative feedback directly or indirectly. That is cultural. How you consider it to be polite, what you consider polite, is cultural. Here in Denmark, people use first names in a business environment, and that's completely perfect. In fact, they feel that it puts people at ease. But there are other cultures where the hierarchy is really important. And it actually, instead of putting people at ease, it makes people uncomfortable when you use the first name too quickly. So understanding this and having cultural awareness is really an important part of improving your business English. Your values are built by your culture. What you think is quote unquote good or bad or polite or impolite, or all of these things that are part of business communication, these are all influenced by your culture. And if you don't understand where your culture sits in relation to the people you're communicating with, then you're not going to be able to communicate well with them. Even if you've got the right words and the right grammar and you've got the skills, if you don't understand who you're talking to, your business English is going to suffer. So again, if you have any questions about this, first of all, check the Business English Guide, or and then contact me. I'll help you out. The next thing and this is the thing that is often overlooked in business English, but it's the thing that you also need to focus on when improving your business English. That is your confidence and personality. Confidence doesn't come automatically. It's something that you have to work on. And one thing that I like to help people do is to shine and to show up as their best self when they're speaking English. And it's also important when you're using English at work that you, as a person, you embody your company values. There are values that your company has. And you want to make sure that in your communication, whether it's spoken or written, whether you're writing an email or making a presentation, that your company's values, your own beautiful personality are coming through in your English, and that you're doing it confidently. So again, I have some tips for this that you can do right away to boost this. And they are in my Business English Guide. Speaking of which, you can go deeper in the Business English Guide, and it's a 6-page guide, a PDF guide, and you get it from lightningenglish.com/business guide. You get it for joining as a bonus for joining my mailing list. If you're already on my mailing list, you can still go to lightningenglish.com/business guide, fill in the form and get it. You won't be added to the list again. You're already there. That's fine. But you'll get the guide in your email. This guide is not just like what I talked about today. It goes deeper into each of these aspects of business English. And I give you quick steps that you can start right away, quick, easy things that you can do right now to start improving all of these aspects of your business English, as well as more sustainable longer term actions that you can take. So go ahead and check it out. Also, because it may seem like a whole lot to read, you can see there's a lot of text on this guide. So if that's too much for you, go straight to page 7 of the guide. Right in there, there's a video of me reading it to you. You don't even have to read the guide. I'll read it to you. You can read along on the screen while I do that. So go ahead and check it out. lightningenglish.com/business guide. If you're watching this and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this would be great to learn for my work, or I really need more than just a free guide, then feel free to contact me at lightningenglish.com/biz, and I will do a free 45-minute consultation with you about how I can help you in any of these aspects or all of them, whether you are an individual or you're looking for help for a group of people in your company. So I can come and do courses for the whole department, or I can do one-to-one lessons online. It depends, of course, on where you are. I do in-person courses in Denmark. I also do a business English course every couple of months in Copenhagen and Aarhus. And it is a 2-day in-person course, and it's a whole lot of fun. So we can talk about that. Contact me at lightningenglish.com/biz. You go there. Um, there's a little video there explaining what I do. There's a calendar. You can book a time with me. It'll show up in my calendar. You can do it when it's convenient for you, and we'll talk and figure stuff out. So I hope this has helped you get things in perspective with your business English. I know a lot of people are here because they're using English at work, and it can be really stressful and really scary to use English at work. So that's why I've given you these little steps. I want you to start with baby steps, and then you can take these steps, see some improvement, and come back and try some more. So don't try and do everything at once. Download the guide at lightningenglish.com/business guide. And then, yeah, go ahead and get going with it. All right. So those of you who are here live, you can go ahead and write in the comments and say hi and who you are. And of course, if you have any questions about business English, go ahead and ask them in the comments. I don't see any at the moment, but if you ask them after I'm gone, I will definitely answer them in the comments for you. So take care. It's been great talking to you here on this lightning lesson, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.